There are things that we continue to grow and learn and build in life. And there are things that we begin to realize that we didn't even know were a part of us until certain things happen. The other night, Dixon was playing the conference-leading Kingston-Genoa team, and David Whitcombe was fouled with less than 10 seconds left. The game was tied, and now he was standing at the free throw line, the throng of people looking at him, and a team resting on his shoulders. We don't realize things that we have the ability to do unless we prepare for it. Okay? The young man shoots baskets religiously. Okay, and over a period of time, muscle memory begins to kick in. And you do that which becomes a part of you. Okay? He sank both free throws, and the team won the game. I use that as the intro to this message because we sometimes miss the strength of who we are until we're faced with something. And the value of it doesn't really come to pass until others are looking at us with the pressure of the situation. And we simply do what we're accustomed to do. 1 Corinthians chapter 13. See, there's some learning that takes place in our lives that starts to dictate what things are important for us and what things are not. There are things that happen in our lives that we never really understand what we are preparing for. There'll be many more victories that David will experience. He wins every time he comes in here and gets on these drums. Or may I say, we win every time he comes in here and gets on these drums. He hit the winning free throws, but the team won. But it happened through his experience and the things that he became accustomed to doing and understanding. And then muscle memory just kicks in, and just boom, and thus is the context, if I may, of this prelude, this interjection, this interlude that the Apostle Paul took in 1 Corinthians. Though I speak with tongues of men and angels, and have not charity, I am become as a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I can remove mountains, and have not charity, I have nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profits me nothing. For you see, charity is long-suffering and it's kind. Charity envies not, and Charity vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. It does not behave unseemly. It seeketh not her own. It is not easily provoked or thinks no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoices in truth. And bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Charity never fails. But whether there be prophecies, they'll fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it'll vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even also I am known. Now abideth faith, hope, and charity. These three. But the greatest of these is charity. We're all born learning. Okay? We all have this process of learning. We learn our first steps. We speak our first words. We ride our first bicycle. Along with that learning comes some words that we found out that we shouldn't say. Hello. But we take some of those steps and we find ourselves taking steps that we should not take. Along the way, we scrape our knees from falling off of our bicycle. But in it all, we don't stop talking. We don't stop walking. And once you learn how to ride that bike, you pick that thing up and you get back on it. And you keep riding. As many times as we've fallen, we get back on the bike and keep going. We're born to learn. I want you to get this today. And the great lessons that we learn are lessons, prayerfully, that we will pass along. Okay? In this passage is interesting because this is a church that had a lot of struggles and a lot of issues. And it appears like the Apostle Paul takes a reflective interlude on life and legacy. It's like all of a sudden he just kind of stops. And he says, you know what? This stuff that I thought was important to me, it really doesn't mean anything. You know, as we get older, some of us are older. You begin to have a little different perspective on legacy. What is the legacy that I'm going to leave? At 61, I think about that now. At 31, I didn't think about that a whole lot. And when I was in high school, all I thought about was, okay, maybe I cannot say that. But legacy, carrying some on with them, legacy was not prevalent in my thinking. You see, DW will always be remembered for hitting those 2 free throws. He didn't know that all the time that he was shooting those free throws in his driveway, in the gym, that there was going to be a moment. Well, you might as well, you know how you do it. 10, 9, 8. Right. But then the reality of it comes. And now he will be known forever for hitting those 2 free throws, winning the game. You guys remember Married with Children? Yes. And Al, was that his name? Al was only remembered that he was a high school football star. You know why? He didn't prepare for life and legacy going forward. You hear what I'm saying? And sometimes we miss that, and we only live on the laurels of what we've done, as opposed to understanding who we are. The Apostle Paul stopped for a moment, and he took this reflective interlude on life and legacy, and he spoke of what I call the those of life. He said, though I speak with tongues of men and angels, though I prophesy, though I understand all mysteries, though I have all knowledge, though I can remove mountains, though I can bestow all my goods to the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, all of his those in life came to one bottom line. He said, if I don't have love, all this stuff I can do, it means nothing. It's like he just stopped, and it was like he needed to share some stuff in life. Can I talk to somebody today? Yes. And let you know, there are all kinds of things that we hold important to us. And if we don't have that, our life ain't no good. If we don't have him, if we don't have her, if we don't have it, all of a sudden, there's no value to our lives. But look at the apostle here. He had his stuff together. One of the most highly educated people during that time. And we think sometimes, as long as we know, we think, and we got ourselves together. I had somebody tell me this week. He said, I'm not going to church. I'm a spiritual person. And he began to tell me about how spiritual he was. And the more he talked, the more difficult the understanding was. Because then it wasn't long he started cussing and fussing because you know what? Because it wasn't happening his way. I want you to hear something. In all of these things that the Apostle Paul thought he could do, he came to the conclusion that his legacy, that his life only had value if he understood the love factors in his life. The scriptures speak of what love is and what love isn't. Love doesn't suffer. Love suffers long. Love is kind. Love is not expressed in envy. Love does not boast of itself. Love is not puffed up. Love does not behave itself unseemly, nor does it seek her own. It is not provoked. It is not easily provoked, and love does no evil. Love does not rejoice in another person's weaknesses, and it rejoices in truth. Love bears all things. Love hopes all things. Love believes all things. Love endures all things. Love never fails.
That's right. Yes, that's right.
And here he just stopped long enough to have that reflection. And I'm coming to you today to ask you to reflect on those things that have value to you. And is it, if you don't have it, what is your life worth? Can we come to a point to where we can say, this will fade, this will go away, all of these things won't happen. If they don't happen, oh well. One thing I know, if I have love, yes, it's true, pure love, not the kind of love that, you know, I'm going to...
Amen. Amen.
It's interesting that Paul continues his reflection as he returns to a place of personal introspection. He said, in context, he started to say, we hold important prophecies. He's speaking of himself. And he said, that's going to fail. He said, tongues, that's going to see. Now it's just going to vanish away. We know in part. And the things that we attain and we try to carry are temporal in nature. You know, this is how he's thinking. I'm asking you, what things are we holding so valuable that in context they're pretty temporal? They're going to come and they're going to go. But he says that I've learned some things. I've learned that there are many of these things that I thought were so valuable to me that are going to pass away. I can almost see Paul gaze into the heavens in thought and say, but that which is perfect, when that which is perfect is come, that which I have in part will be done away with. And it's like he was thinking, when I was a kid, when I was a child, I thought like a child. I behaved like a child. Sometimes we take those things that we value, and especially if they've taken place in our youth, and we hold them close to us. That's how Bundy was. Bundy sat on that couch, you know, and he would sit there and he'd dream about when he scored the winning touchdown. Right? That'll never go away for Doug. Okay, he hit those free throws. But what would it be like if his total value was in what he did on, was that Friday night? What would it be like if 20 years from now he's sitting on his couch? Yeah, I hit the game with, my name is D.W. What would it be like? We think, but then there are times when we need to grow. We take those things and we add them on in our lives, but we have to see it as value. I don't think, that's just me, I don't think he would have hit those free throws if he had not practiced so constantly and religiously the way he did, because it's just muscle memory now. You know what I'm saying? You ever see Michael Jordan close his eyes and he hit free throw? I'm like, how do you do that stuff? Because it simply is, you know, it's what you do. And the Apostle Paul is saying, I've learned some things now. This is who I am now. I've learned that a lot of this stuff that I thought meant everything don't really mean nothing.
Come on, man.
I've learned, I've grown to this place to where now the understanding becomes part of my culture, part of my makeup, part of who I am. He said, I see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but I shall see, I will be known, I will know even as I am known. And he builds to this crescendo of thought of what Ecclesiastes calls a three-strand cord that cannot be easily broken. A mix of life, a montage of lessons lived and lessons learned. A climax that declares, with all the things that I have and all the things that I do, there are three constants in my life that remain. Faith, hope, and love. My faith in God and people, no matter how bad it gets, will always be there. My hope for a blessing and for a blessing for tomorrow gets that tomorrow will be better than the day before, will cause me to look to the horizons and even in the midst of storms, believe that things are going to be all right. And love, in the King James, is expressed as charity. It is the actionable quality of life that makes all of the difference. Y'all hear me? You know, it's easy to say, I love you. Oh, I love you. And you know, some of us are falling for that. Some of us have perpetrated that. I love you, baby. But love, charity, has actionable movement. You see, we know what love is when we see it in action.
Yes. Yes.
Don't tell me you love me.
Come on, come on.
You can't show me you love me.
All right.
And so he says, there are three. There's this three-strand cord that now holds my life together. And all of these other things that I value, prophecy and all of my knowledge and all of this stuff, it means nothing. It's going to pass away.
Yes.
But there are these three things that when you hold them together, they cannot be broken. That is my faith, hope, and love. And then he says, but the greatest of these, the glue that holds it all together, the one thing that causes for faith and hope to have movement and systemic change is charity, is love. And so what's he saying? I'm going to hit it every time. Bam! 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 Why? Because now the life and context has become muscle memory to him. He said, I've got this because I understand that all this other stuff really doesn't mean anything, and I'm holding on to the three-strand cord. I'm holding on to the actionable quality of this thing called love, and love will carry me through no matter what. How do we know? We only know when the game is tied. When it looks like we're going to either win or lose. And we say, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Well, I know who I am. I know whose I am. And I know the quality of the action that now has become muscle memory today. Love. Love will sink that shot every time. Love will take us through every time. Love will take us across every bridge. Love will help to weather any storm. Love is going to continue to move us into the place to where there is success and victory and legacy. Because somebody else is going to see the love that you display, and they're going to say, I can do that. But they'll understand that it takes work.
That's right. Amen.
Yes.
Because your legacy will be the demonstration of it. Doesn't mean that we're all going to do everything perfect.
All right.
If you ask Doug how many free throws he missed, he wouldn't be able to tell you. But he stayed at it. You hear what I'm saying? Excuse me for using sport analogies.
All right.
You know, most of you know Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team. Yeah, he was. But you hear what I'm saying? The passion created this movement that kept him going forward. Understand what your values are. And understand that ultimately those values will be encapsulated in faith, in hope, and love. Without those, everything else you value, you're going to find out means nothing. Don't wait till you get old. Hello. Don't wait till you get old to figure out what you value.
That's right.
Okay? I'm done. Let's pray just one moment. Lord, I see legacy in this room. I see people whose lives have gone up and down in values, but then have come to one realization that without love, the rest is nothing. Lord, I ask that even now, that you would help us to hit the game-winning shot of life over and over because of our choice to love no matter what. Change us, Lord. We have a lot of things, Lord, that we struggle with. But we ask, Lord God, that you would allow us to have this type of introspection that the Apostle Paul had. To where we can look at our lives and say, you know what, that really doesn't mean as much as I thought it did. But I stand on faith, hope, and love. And I realize that the greatest of all of these is love. The love that you've given, the love that I've received, that we have received, and the love that we can give to others. We choose to walk in that. In Jesus' name. Amen. 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 A couple of things I want to mention as we prepare for get our young people. We are prayerfully working towards building greater servanthood here in this body. By Resurrection Sunday, which is April 16th this year, there will be different types of messages and things that we will share: women's ministry, men's ministry, Bible studies, and a number of different areas that we will share to assist in building sound servanthood. That is the model, the business model, if you will, of our Father's house that the Lord Jesus spoke of. What I'm hoping we can all do